All right, let's talk a little horse racing, the Run for the Roses, the 152nd edition of the Kentucky Derby. Churchill Downs tomorrow, post time, 6:57 Eastern Daylight Time. From Horse Racing Nation, let's bring him in, Ed DeRosa, to break down and handicap this Run for the Roses. Ed, good afternoon. How are you on this Friday afternoon?
I'm doing great. I'm live here at Churchill Downs, and beautiful day for the Oaks. Beautiful night for the Oaks.
Oh, what's the weather like there right now? It's got to be better than it is here.
Based on you saying that, I'll agree. It's a little cool. There's a breeze, but it's dry, which we love that. And not quite sunny, but, seasonable, mild. The gentlemen in their jackets aren't feeling too ill. Maybe the women in their sundresses might be a little chilly, but again, it's dry. That's the key.
There you go. A couple of mint juleps will take care of that.
That's right. Yep.
43 in a cold rain here, Ed. It's brutal.
That's bad.
Yeah, but hey, we got a 20-horse field. We had a couple of scratches, a couple of additions. Great White and was it Ocelli will be in the number 20 spot tomorrow. For the first time in, Ed, I'm going to say probably 8 to 10 years, I really am struggling who I like in this field to win, and to talk exact and trifecta, I have absolutely no clue. I don't know why. It's just one of those years. Renegade comes out smoking 4-1, and a couple of other horses. But has this been a tricky field, or is this just, if you know what you're doing, you can see a couple opportunities here?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the latter, because that's certainly what I think I bring to the table.
Sure.
But, I think one of the big issues in racing now, not issue, but it's just in terms of like getting excited about a derby, is the horses do run less often lately.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have a smaller body of work to go on when they get to the derby. So even the ones that have shown a lot of potential and grit, they haven't raced as often. So you don't have that superstar mentality yet. And I think that leads to, making it look maybe a little more wide open than it is. There's 3 sort of favorites that people have been talking about the last few weeks: Commandment, Further Ado, and Renegade.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, if any horse is going to go on and be sort of a superstar that we keep talking about, my money's going to be on Further Ado.
Interesting. Do we have any idea what the track is probably going to be like tomorrow night around 7:00?
Yeah, I would expect a fast track. There's absolutely no rain in the forecast. It's been dry since Wednesday. So in terms of track condition, there should not be any excuse from the connection.
Beautiful. Ed DeRosa, the Horse Racing Report, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN, getting you ready for the Kentucky Derby tomorrow at Churchill Downs. All right, let's Commandment is one horse that I do like. I want to get your thoughts on Commandment at 6-1, and then we'll talk about Renegade, and then Further Ado. Then we'll look for a couple of other ones, but maybe hit those first 3 and what we know about those horses and how we think they might run Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, well, Commandment, 100% one of the horses to beat. He won the Florida Derby, which has the look of the deepest prep race of the year. It's very much, to me, the Florida Derby, sort of the SEC or the Big Ten.
Okay.
For Ohio listeners.
I like it.
Just the better horses were in that race, top to bottom. So Commandment beat them. So you sort of have to respect the champ of the league you like best. But the Puma and Chief Wallaby were right there behind him. Both of them figure to be contenders here as well. So, yes, Commandment, absolutely one of the ones to beat. And I would say one of the things that's impressed me about him is he's shown an ability to go through traffic. He's gone between horses. He's had to make a move. And that's essential in the Derby when you're talking about 20 horses.
Right. That was going to be my next question. The Derby has been at 20 for a couple of years. And then the next race, okay, you're maybe down to like 14 or 15. And then by the time the Belmont rolls around, you might not even have a double-digit horse field. What is it like? Like, do horses get spooked a little bit when it's so much traffic? Do they tend to run cautiously when it's like this in the Derby, or are they able to adjust and make their move when they're asked to?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, they are pack animals, so I don't think the number of horses in a race particularly spooks them. I will say the more horses you have, the more likely there is for chaos or trouble, just because extra horses and add randomness. Where I would say you have an opportunity to maybe throw horses off is it's 150,000 people. It's literally a wall of sound when you turn for home, and everyone is yelling in your direction. Like the jockeys talk about it. You can feel the sound. It actually has a physical presence, and that's something you can't train for. Horses have no experience with that. So to me, that's where you sort of get, when you talk about chaos in the Derby and how are they going to handle it, I think it has a lot more to do with the crowd than it does the field size.
Interesting. Ed DeRosa is our guest. Check him out at the Horse Racing Nation. Ed, how many Derbies is this for you?
This will be 24.
24. So my next question is going to have to be, how has it changed over the last 24 years? The Derby, the preparation for the Derby, the partying, the crowds, the racing talent. How has that changed?
Yeah, you know, as someone who loves horse racing, I grew up going to Thistle Down near Cleveland with my grandfather. So I've always grown up around the track and racing. I think the biggest difference for me year to year is the Derby is still the Derby, and kudos to Churchill Downs for keeping it a top event, and, you know, attendance and handle is up every year. Yeah, horse racing itself is certainly nowhere near as popular as when I was going to the track as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, even now, this is pretty much the only race we talk about unless there is a superstar horse. So, you know, the Derby has maintained its level while the industry as a whole has not. I feel like that's probably the biggest difference, because after Saturday, you know, unfortunately, I'd love to talk about racing every day and do for my job, but I do wish it were a little more popular.
Yeah, I kind of do too. I mean, obviously, I love the three big ones. I pay attention to the Arkansas, the Florida. I watch the Breeders' Cup every year. I have some friends that are like really deep into horse racing, and they'll go to Mountaineer, they'll go to Thistle Down. They're going all over the place, and I really do enjoy it. And I don't know if it probably will never get back to the way it used to be, but gosh, I wish it would get a little bump. I don't know what would make that happen, but I mean, is there anything out there that can give this sport a little juice, or is it really much come all down to the horses, and maybe you get lucky and you get a Triple Crown one year?
Yeah, I mean, even, you know, we had two Triple Crown winners one each in 15 and 18, and it definitely gives a bump in the moment. But I was hoping, and I haven't seen it yet, but we're still young in the sports betting era.
Mm-hmm.
You know, racing's pretty much 24/7 now that it's international. You know, on the apps and stuff, you can play races from all over the world. And certainly we've seen with the sports betting, you know, people are playing everything, cricket, table tennis. And, you know, if they're willing to do that, I'd be shocked if they wouldn't be interested in racing. So I do have a sliver of hope that if, you know, one of these companies can figure out how to get racing a little more mainstream with their sports bettors, that, you know, there might be a spark there. But yeah, we need something to kickstart this thing for sure.
No doubt. Horse Racing Nation's Ed DeRosa, our guest here at 1310 WDPN. The Run for the Roses tomorrow. Churchill Downs, Ed says, going to be a fast track. Post time 6:57 tomorrow night. I've seen there has been some talk, and I know you could probably add to this. And I don't know when this is going to happen, but they're thinking about maybe spacing these races out maybe a little bit more. And I'm talking about the Triple Crown races, the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont, just because of horses maybe aren't quite ready to roll that soon after a big race. Is there any movement there? What do you see happening down the road?
Yeah, I think, you know, last year when Sovereignty won the Kentucky Derby and skipped the Preakness, I think that probably accelerated some of these discussions, which admittedly were already happening. But, you know, it's a tough balance, because the Preakness, even last year without the Derby winner, it was a short field. It's still the third or fourth highest bet race in the country. So, you know, there's a real risk of, you know, if you think you're doing better by moving it, you might lose some of that. Like it's a genuine risk. So, the discussions are happening, but man, I couldn't even, I would say it's 50-50 to move in the next 3 years. I really think it could go either way. But that said, the development of the horse and the treatment of them, medication, et cetera, I do think is sort of leading toward more time between races, and that would require the Preakness to move.
That's interesting. We'll definitely keep our eyes on that. Okay, Ed, let's get down to business now. What do you say as far as just a flat winner and maybe a try or a superfecta you might be looking at for the Derby tomorrow?
Yeah, so Further Ado, definitely my top selection. I always ask myself, if these horses run the best race I think they're capable of, who wins? And the answer this year is Further Ado, and he's not going to be the favorite, so you're actually getting a decent price on him. Loved his Bluegrass. He won it by 10 lengths, and if any horse is going to have a special performance on Saturday, I think it's him. As for underneath, those trifecta and exacta players, Chief Wallaby and Commandment are the two horses I'd want out of the Florida Derby. And I'll throw an Emerging Market in there as well, who currently is taking a little more money than I was expecting them to. So the value isn't totally there. But he's a horse. This is just his third career start. So he's sort of an exciting prospect. We don't really know who he is yet. Sort of a Travis Benzana type.
I love it. Yeah.
The early returns are promising, but it's, one thing to do it in Columbus. It's another to do it in Cleveland. And then I'll give it a long shot because all four of those are less than 10-1. Wonder Dean is a horse from Japan who I think is getting a little more overlooked than he should be. I think he's around 20 or 25-1.
Yeah.
I think he could, slide in there underneath Further Ado.
Very cool. Lady, I've seen a couple of 30-1s on Wonder Dean, depending where you're looking. Ed,
all right, well, if you get 30-1, I'd take it.
Oh, absolutely. Who's riding Further Ado tomorrow?
I got Johnny Velasquez.
Ooh, okay. All right.
And
I
an
like it.
interesting stat on that is since 2010, only 3 jockeys have won the Derby when it's their first mount on a horse. So in this case, Johnny V's never ridden Further Ado. This will be his first time. Of the 3 times it's happened, Johnny V was 2 of those winners, Animal Kingdom and Authentic.
Animal Kingdom.
He has
Oh,
an
my
knack for
gosh.
A, winning this race, and B, doing it on a horse that he's never ridden before.
Wow, that is a great nugget right there. Ed DeRosa from Horse Racing Nation. I appreciate your time today. Enjoy your 24th Kentucky Derby. I hope you have a profitable weekend, and we'll catch up with you here, Darnell, maybe before the Preakness, okay?
Sounds great. Let's make some money, guys.
Let's do it, Ed. Appreciate you. Ed DeRosa, Horse Racing Report. Check him out on all of your favorite social media platforms.